Hello again everyone, Ken from Whittling Woods back again with part 2 of our little whittling wood carving tutorial, the basics of carving the face. Last week we did the nose, as you can see here, and this week we're going to do the mouth, and then next week we'll continue with the eyes. So this will be, like I mentioned in the first video, a 3-part series, and it's geared towards beginners, people just starting out. We're keeping everything very basic. You can see it's a very basic nose, and if you watch the last video, to get up to speed, you'll see how to do that. They're not very hard at all to do. You can change it any way you want. This week we're going to do the mouth, like I mentioned. It's going to be just for people who are, just tuning in here, so to speak. The original block of wood was 3 1/4 inches long and 1 1/4 inches wide. So, and that's squared off. I drew center lines down every plane. I just kind of reinforced a bit over on this front plane here, but there you go. And then I divided I went up 1 inch basically. We're going to whittle the face in the first 3 inches, and I divided it up into thirds. And as I mentioned in the other video, I do that a lot with my figure whittles, thirds. When I'm doing the full figure, full body, the head is 1/3, the body itself is another third, and then the legs are another third. So I keep to that third principle. It seems to work really well for me, and that's great for these little type figures. And it's easy to divide things up into thirds for the most part. So here we initially put our stop cut in for the eyes, and then it formed the top of the nose and the brow, where the eyes will be eventually. The second inch down was the bottom of the nose, as you can see there, and then the third inch down is going to be where the chin is, and then we divide that part in half here, nose and the bottom of the nose and the chin, and that's where we'll put the mouth. And now you can adjust the mouth upward or downward if you want. If you want them to have real big lips, maybe for some reason, then maybe adjust it downward and puff up the lips a bit. If you want them to have a real big chin, you move the mouth up slightly, or you move the chin mark down a little bit. But we're going to keep everything very simple and very generic here. So anyway, I'm going to get everything set up and I'll be right back. The first thing we can do here for the mouth is define where the bottom of the chin is going to be. So like we said, we came down 3 inches from the top, or about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom here. But so I marked it with a little line there. You can see the black little Sharpie mark, and we'll just put a little stop cut in there and cut up to that. That's going to define where our chin's going to be. And I like to carry that kind of around a little bit to about the halfway mark, so to speak. You can see that's the center plane on the side, so we carry it around to about the halfway mark. For now, we can adjust it. As I mentioned in other videos, keep in mind when you're doing these, especially if you're starting out, keep always whittle away less wood than you think you actually want to, if that makes any sense. It's easier to take more wood away than to try to replace wood. So you can kind of see we're just very easily going in here and doing that. Now, as I mentioned, I'm trying to take these videos. I know they drag out a little bit. They're a little long for such a simple, components. But for people just starting out, I think sometimes. And some people have mentioned this in the comments, slow down, show us what you're doing. We're trying to learn, and that's what I'm trying to do. So if you're more of an advanced whittler, this may not be the video for you. But if you're just beginning, then maybe take a look and see if it helps you. And there's obviously plenty of people who do tutorials like this. I recommend you watch as many as possible and see which method you like. And eventually you'll come upon your own. But see, you can see we just sort of went around here and broke out where the bottom of the chin is going to be. So the next thing we're going to want to do is start defining the features on the around the mouth. This is commonly called like the mouth mound, this area in here, and it's sort of round. You don't whittle the mouth on a flat plane. You're not whittling it straight across, like here's the mouth, type of thing. You always want to whittle it just like your skull. It rounds. Your jaw and everything is curved. So we want to get this rounded. So you can kind of come around here and just begin to round that out a bit. You kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay. We just went around here and make sure we establish some type of curve. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna be changing a lot of things as we go. So just get the general shape as a semicircle. So I think which is probably something you should be aiming for. What I like to do next is the little area below. If you look at your own face, the area right below your lower lip is a bit concave. The chin is more prominent. And that area is a bit concave. On most faces, you can see here, the nose sticks out maybe almost the same distance as the chin. So that's not necessarily always the case on most people. Your chin is a bit more recessed than that. So we're gonna slowly whittle some of this back. But when I come in here and I start to take little scooping cuts. You can kind of see a little bit. Let me clear this off for you. You kind of see how we're beginning to hollow that out a bit. And that's going to begin to form that area right below your lower lip, and actually part of your lower lip. And I just kind of come around making a little bit of a scooping cut. You can see I'm taking the knife and I'm just scooping out wood. You kind of see how that's coming. And we can start to take the chin back a little bit more here. And again, you can get creative with the chin. You want to put a dimple in the chin, or you want to make it recessed and cut it back even more. Like I said, we're going to keep these a very generic male face, which is probably the easiest to carve. He's going to have, just a shut mouth, and keep it simple, so we're not worrying about open mouth with teeth and tongues and all that kind of stuff. And I like to come back and I start rounding, but a lot of this stuff, a lot of this final alterations here on the face, final detail on the face, we can come back and do it towards the end here. We're more concerned right now with just scooping out that wood. And what I like to do when I scoop it out is I like to kind of come, and I'm going to draw, this is the area we're scooping out, but I like to kind of scoop it in this fashion. Okay, that's not the lip. The lip is actually, the split in the lip is going to be up here. This is the area that we're hollowing out, if you can see that. So it's sort of a curve. I kind of come up from the bottom and I work my way around, and I carefully, you want to take little bits of wood when you're doing this. Don't try to go all out. If you have to, flip it around to work with the grain. So there you go. You can kind of see how we hollowed that out now. So you can almost get an idea. You can see right in here is where the lip will be. And we've already moved the chin back a little bit past the nose. And like I said, you can go even more if you want. But this is a fairly, like I said, fairly generic male character with a very prominent jaw. So probably easiest to whittle. All right. So there you go. And you can already see we're getting kind of a lip in there right now. And then what we're going to do is let's use a Sharpie so it's a little bit easier here. And first I'll use this just because I want to be able to whittle that away easier. That's the center line. What we're going to do here is just at that peak of that area, the peak of the area from leading up from the base of the nose to where we hollowed out that chin, this area right in here. Let's draw this is going to be the split of the lips. So just draw yourself a bit of a line here. Now typically your mouth, the ends of the corners of your mouth come to about the midpoint of your eye. So if your eye is going to be right here and right here eventually, our mouth should come approximately to that. Again, these are fairly generic, so that's what we're going to do. So there you go. And I wouldn't recommend using a Sharpie. I'm only using a Sharpie now because it just shows up so much better on the video. And there you go. And what I also like to do is actually add in the corner of the mouth. You don't have to do this now, but maybe put a slight line down that way and a slight line down that way. And there you go. So the first thing I do is I come across here. Now you can do it two ways. You can start in the center and do a stop cut. You're going to go right on your line here, just like we've done for the nose and so many things. You know, we're securing our thumb somewhere, and we're just going to kind of make a bit of a cut in there, like that. And then we'll flip it around, continue from the center again, and bring it right to the end. What I like to do then is go back and deepen right at the corners. You can see where I'm at here, and I push my knife in a little bit deeper there, and I push it in a little bit deeper here. Same thing, if you can kind of see there. All right, and then sometimes I'll come right on the edge right there, and I'll deepen it at that angle on that little line we made. You can kind of see how that is right there on the top. All right, because this is all wood we're going to be removing, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Alright, so now we can come up in here and start and cut up to that. This is going to form the lower lip. So we're going to cut up to that. Don't go, you don't have to go too crazy. And then right when you get to the end, you're going to have the cut here that made, and then the cut up here. And just kind of like we did up here on the nose, we're going to come in here and we're going to scoop out that little bit of wood. Kind of like that. And then come around here. Do the same thing. And then in here, like I said, we're going to scoop up that little bit of wood. So there you go. So already we have the split in the lip. Now what I'd like to do for the upper lip, to get a little bit of a lip, right now he's got no upper lip. And I take my knife kind of from the center point. You can kind of see right here where my thumb is, right at that center line. And I put my knife in there, that's the base of the cut, and I kind of bring it up and around, up like this. I start to bring that back, start to just kind of form a bit of an edge, you know, a softened edge. You can kind of see there. Flip it around, do the same thing on this side. Come from that center point and just cut down. So you can kind of see here, we have a bit of a mouth in there already. And we got the lower lip sort of in there, and we got a bit of an upper lip in there. And it really isn't that hard to do. You can kind of go around and maybe deepen it a little bit more. I tend to like to, and there you go. I mean, look how simple that is. You can call that good if you want to. If you want to enhance it a little bit more, you can do a couple things. You can kind of come in here if you want to form more of a noticeable lower lip. And this is an alternative. You can certainly leave it like that and call it good. And sometimes on a smaller figure, that's maybe all you need. You can see it's sort of has the indication of a lip. You can bring this down a little bit more and shape it, because you can kind of see it forms the lip, upper and lower lip, when you do it like that. And like I said, that pretty much for the basic mouth is all you need. You could stop right there and literally call it good. Sometimes I come in here and I maybe deepen that a little bit more, take out just a bit more wood in there, just to deepen it. Sometimes I think it adds a little bit. In whittling, sometimes the shadows that you create in the wood give it more, I don't know, interest, makes it a bit more dynamic, and you can see by doing that, it kind of deepens those recesses a little bit. And you know, it all depends on what you're going for. You know, and again, like I said, this is a very basic closed mouth figure, and that's it. Now, like I said, you could come in here and enhance the lower lip if you want. Sometimes I do this where I'll come in here, and let me again draw it because it might be easier to see. And you don't have to do it this way. I'm just giving you an alternative. You can kind of come in here, and we're going to go from that corner, and we're going to kind of come down around here, and then we're going to go up on this side into that corner as well, like this. Okay, so now what you're going to do is come in here, put your knife up into that corner, put a little stop cut, and cut up to it, and just follow it around. You could come in here and do it just by, you know, making a stop cut like we did when we made the lip initially, or you can kind of come in and just, you know, get your stop cut in by pressing it in there and then coming back and cutting up to it. It basically just defines the lower lip a little bit more. And again, it's not necessary to do it. You saw the other way look fine too, so this is just an alternative that you can, you know, if you choose to do it and you want to maybe make it a more pronounced lower lip for some reason. Sometimes it looks good. A lot of times when I do the lower lip like that, I'll come in here and I'll take a little bit more wood out in between the two lips. And that essentially is all you really need to do. You can shape it to whatever way you want. I don't like to make it too big down here because, you know, sometimes if you make the lower lip too big, it might read as a bit of a tongue sticking out. We don't want that. So there you go. It kind of gives you a little bit more of a lip in there. I round it out just a bit. You know, come along the edge here and take that down a little bit more. Come up underneath. Start hollowing this out a little bit more, because now you've pushed the lip back in a little bit more. You got to come underneath and remove a little bit of the wood. So it's a little more work to do this, but you might like the look of it this way. It's literally up to you, however you want it, however you want to approach it. And just kind of, you know, make sure it looks fairly symmetrical. Come in here, do your hollowing again. Then I want to come up into the corners. And there you go. You can kind of see from the side here. We've got a bit of a mouth on them now. You can bring the upper lips up a little bit more if you choose to. I'll show you that. Just cut it back a little bit more. Something like that. I usually come back along the edges here. And I kind of bring those back a little bit. There you go. So now you have kind of a basic mouth in there. The other thing I like to do is the little divot that's under your nose. What's it called? Fulstrum? Something like that? I forget. Put a little stop cut in there like so. Come back with your knife from the lip area, and then slowly, carefully remove some wood in there. flip it around from the lip. Slowly remove some wood in there, just to make it, give it that little indentation over there. That's all. And if you have a gouge, a little U-gouge, you know, that's not too, it's not, you know, it's pretty shallow gouge. You can use that instead, and that works as well. It just gives it a little bit more character there. That's all. And you can see pretty quickly we did a mouth here, and that's literally all you need to do for the mouth. So I usually go back, and now that I have it pretty much whittled out, I just go back and do any kind of cleanup that I think is necessary. But you can see now we've added a mouth to our little face here, and it was pretty easy to do and pretty basic to do. So you know, look at it from all sides. Does a chin stick out too? Oh, I said about putting a dimple in the chin. You know, you can kind of come in here, and if you want, put a line, and you know, kind of cut on either side of that type of thing. You know, something like that. However you want to do it. It's again, these are just you know, your own little preference. However you want to approach it, and whatever kind of detail you want to add or have on your whittle. So you know, we got a little kind of a dimpled chin over there. You know, and kind of superhero look to him or something. But that's it. Alrighty. I'm just going to. What I did kind of want to show you too is on the side over here. We're actually going to start the head and the jaw. Everything kind of comes up here. So you know, keep in mind that your whole jawline and everything, when you do it here, is going to come up the side a bit. And you know, you're going to have your ears like right in here somewhere if you were doing the ear. But that's it, you know. And then you'll cut this back. Obviously, we don't have the neck doesn't stick out like that. That's it. You know, you don't really. I mean, I'm just showing you here. This is just. It's not. We're not doing the whole head here. We're really just doing the face. But I'm giving you an idea of how everything kind of works in situ here. Because when you cut this, you're going to be removing on a full figure. You'd be removing all this wood down here underneath the chin, because that's the way you would be doing it. It's the way the body goes. You know, just to push it back a little bit, as you can see, kind of like that, and then you round the jaw around. But again, we're not doing the full. We're not doing a head here or a figure. We're basically giving you a basic introduction to the face. And this is good for, you know, people, especially if you're, you know, maybe want to start doing little figures, little faces, They're good to start with. You know, we all have a ready-made model. Just look in the mirror and go with it. It's not hard to do. So that's it. I'm just going to clean things up around here, and I'll be right back. Okay, there you go. I got the simple little mouth in there. You can kind of see. We kind of did it in two ways. One, a little bit more of a lower lip. I put that crazy dimpled chin on him and everything. So, but you could see. You could stop at the first part and not form the lower lip as prominent as that if you should choose. But it gives you some options here. It gives you a couple ways of doing the mouth. You can see they're pretty basic to do. So I would suggest, again, if you're following along, do your nose, do your mouth, practice on a few pieces, getting those done. Try it in different ways. Give it a look, whatever way you like. Try different. Maybe make one side of the mouth go up. You know, change the smile line a little bit to an upward curve to it. Again, we're keeping these very, very generic, so and kind of simple. But there you go. It was just a simple little mouth, nothing too complex to do. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. Stay tuned for next week, and we'll do these guys up here, the eyes. So have a great whittling week. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.